Welcome to the Contractor's Secret Weapon Radio Podcast, the show dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, and others in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over their competition. Get ready for some inspiration, some encouragement, some proven business building strategies, and a couple of new ideas that can take your business to the next level and beyond. And now, broadcasting from the Contractor's Secret Weapon Studio, it's Pete Mitchell and Dave Negri.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Contractor's Secret Weapon. This is Dave Negri, one of your co-hosts.
All right, this is Pete Mitchell, one of your other co-hosts.
And I think this is the end of the year. Actually, it'll be the beginning of the year.
No, this one's going out next Monday.
It's not next Monday. Okay, so this is the end of the year.
End of the year.
So I had this thought today, and I'm sure a lot of you had the same thought. We're going to name this one, the one about insanity. So, you know that old saying, if you do the same thing you did last year, this year, and expect different results, then it's insane.
Right.
So what are you going to do to change it? Hopefully something.
Right.
So, come to the end of the year, and you're sitting down, and you're looking at your books, and you say, I didn't do as good as I thought I would. Well, the only reason you probably didn't do as good as you thought you would is because you didn't make plans to do more.
Right.
So how are we going to get them to plan better, do more, and expect more for next year?
Well, as I look at that, first of all, there's a couple of thoughts that come to my mind. One, which is a primary thought. In fact, I'm going to write it down because I don't want to forget it. I'm going to circle back to that one. But a couple of thoughts I had going through my head. There are two types of tax problems that people have. One type of tax problem is when they don't have enough money to cover their taxes that are due. Right? And how many people, especially self-employed or small business owners, they're looking at, they got a quarterly coming up here pretty soon, or maybe it's just passed, but depending on when they listen to this, and they're like, I don't really have enough money to pay that. That's a tax problem. Another type of tax problem is, oh man, I got to pay the IRS an extra $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in taxes this year. I didn't plan on that. That's another kind of tax problem. That's one because you're making too much money. The other one's because you're not making enough money. And when I say you're making too much money, really that just means, have a better tax planner.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't, it's not really making, it's
about how much money you keep, not how much you make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I was thinking about this because we've got quarterlies coming up here pretty soon. Next step after that is everyone's got to file their April 15th taxes. And if that's the problem that you're having, like you're sitting there going, okay, and I got property taxes due, depending on what state you're in. I have no idea when other states are due. We got them due twice a year here in California. You're like, okay, I got all these bills coming due all at once. What am I going to do? Well, what's the roadmap that you have?
Right.
What's your game plan? Because like you started out the whole podcast with, and that is, if you're expecting to get a different result in 2020 than you did in 2019, it's not going to happen if you don't have a roadmap that's different than the one you were on. If you're still doing the same things that you were doing, don't expect a different result. It's going to be the same or worse because competition still increases, right? It never stays exactly the same, never stays exactly on par. So, you got to have that roadmap. And of course, Dave and I, we talk about this all the time here recently on the podcast. We've got our Contractor Secret Weapon solution. It's the 9 steps. It's the roadmap that you've been looking for. And we give it to everyone, and I'm just going to do a plug for it right here. You need to go to cswsolution.com. That stands for Contractor Secret Weapon Solution.com, CSWsolution.com. And you can opt in. We'll email it to you. We'll also give you a great little video. People have been hearing us talk about, we've got this event coming up, and we decided that we're only going to make it available to people who are in our mastermind. So if you want to find out about the mastermind, go to CSWsolution.com, opt in. You'll be taken to a video. You'll hear about it. You can set up a call. You can talk to me or you can talk to Dave, and we'll see if this is right for you. But you got to have the roadmap, right? You got to have your 9 steps to get you from where you are to where it is that you want to go. I mean, that's the first thing that I see, Dave, that people need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, a lot of things I know from the past, because we've all done it, you sit down at the end of the year and you go, what could I have done better? How could I have closed more? And that you should be doing on a monthly or, bi-monthly basis anyways, to sit down and how could I do better? Not the end of the year, because now you're looking in the past. You're not really looking towards the future, but you got to look to the future now. So let's forget about the past. Let's build that roadmap. Take one thing at a time and go through it and make that plan out and follow it through. I think one of the biggest 2 challenges that I see that I've, personally gone through myself is, one is not having a roadmap. And then 2, trying to pull it together from so many different pieces. I'll listen to this guy. I'll listen to this guy. I'll listen to that guy. And what I do is I create confusion instead of going to one place. Like we have the 9 steps. Take the 9 steps. Follow the program. Get into our program. Follow the program and focus, become laser focused instead of becoming like I was, and I think most guys are, so we chase the shiny nickel.
Right. Because
it looks better. The only thing it does is it slows you down. Because I know that's done it for me. I'll let you know that I chased shiny nickels, and I ended up with pennies.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just, step by step by step. And it's kind of interesting is I was looking at some old books on my bookshelf the other day, and I just need to read some old ones. And one that has really made a huge impression on me from the very beginning was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mm.
Real simple, easy to read book. You could probably read it in a couple hours. There's so many life lessons in there. But one of the important things he said, well, there was a lot of important things. One is don't ever chase money. Don't ever work for money, because then money will control you. The other one that was so profound was, I just lost it. It couldn't have been that profound. That the wealthy become wealthy by doing boring things, monotonous things. It's the monotonous things that make you wealthy. It's the 9-step program that can make you wealthy. It's when we start looking for things to, I think that would be exciting. I'll try that next. That's what brings in their demise, because they take the focus off the thing that they know that helped them create the money to get wealthy.
Right.
So it's just, it's the simple things. It's just not easy.
Right. Yeah, no, I find that really interesting. And I mean, Rich Dad, Poor Dad was one of those books that for me was very eye-opening, because he kind of put down on paper what I always felt that no one else in my family understood. Like I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family. I mean, my family motto was go get a good, safe job. Maybe if you can find government work, great pension at the end. Yeah. I mean, that was kind of what I heard. In fact, I still remember to this day, I was in college. I was living in an apartment, and I was talking to my dad, and my dad worked for juvenile hall as a teacher. And And I mentioned to him, I said, yeah, you know what? I got a third interview for a probation officer job. And my dad said, oh, those can be really good. You can make up to 50 grand a year. And I remember the second I heard that, I was like, I'm not going in for that third interview. There's no way I'm going in because I'm not making 50 grand a year and being like happy at that.
Right.
Just not going to happen. And didn't show up, didn't call him, just dropped it. Was like, I am not doing this probation officer business. And I still remember, some of those key lessons. That one that I to this day rings true to me from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that is you either have assets or liabilities. It's one or the other. And so I look at that same thing in my business. My marketing is either an asset of my business or it's a liability. It's an asset if it brings me more customers. It's a liability if it costs me money, brings me nothing, but makes me feel good. Branding to me, that's a liability. It makes me feel good. But unless someone says, hey, I'm going to go with Pete Mitchell because it's Pete Mitchell, that brand literally does nothing for me. I don't care about it.
Right.
So
right.
I look at everything as assets or liabilities.
And that was a big thing too, because then I realized that my house is not an asset. It's an asset to the bank. Until I started buying houses, I know it was an asset to me. But then let's take it one step further. The houses aren't assets. And until you have a renter in there, the renter is the true asset.
Right.
Other than that, you just have a house. But I think Dan Sullivan put it in the same context as far as employees. He says employees are either assets or they're liabilities. And if you treat them and they're assets, that's great. When they become liabilities, it's not because they're bad. They're just a liability and they're no longer an asset. That's when it's time to spark company.
Mm.
So it's just a different way to look at it because, it may be a person who's just not well suited for where they are. If you can move to a different spot in the company. Sure. Because most people are good. I mean, and a lot of times we just hire wrong anyways. We hire by knowledge and we fire by attitude. And we should hire by attitude anyways because we're going to fire them by attitude. We train them.
Yeah, very true.
So this goes back to focus, and it's laser type focus that are going to take you to where you want to be and where you probably need to be.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, so again, guys, here's the roadmap that we have. Dave and I have kind of broken this whole thing up into 3 categories: audience, bait, and channel. I'm sorry, I'm actually looking at the old one. Audience, avenue, and automation. And the reason why we've got it broken up this way is, okay, so step 1, you got to narrow your focus to your perfect avatar, understanding who exactly am I trying to reach. The biggest mistake, and Dave and I have talked about this many, many times, is when I hear people say, oh, well, anybody with a house is a client or is a prospect for me. No, right? Because a renter is not going to replace the roof on the house if you're a roofer. Never going to do it. Not going to happen. A renter typically not going to have the carpets cleaned. Now, I get there's like 1 or 2 rare oddball renters out there.
That's why we put tile in.
What's that?
That's why we put tile in.
Right, but you know what I'm saying, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a waste of your money if you're marketing to the wrong person. So you got to know who is the right person. Then we've got to create our lead bait. Like, what is the thing that's going to get our ideal prospect to raise their hand and say, hey, you know what? I'm your ideal prospect. And depending on the industry, that's going to change dramatically. I mean, in some cases, like with my detailers that I work with, they can offer, some sort of offer or package or something like that. They don't have to do any kind of education-based marketing because people are either going to have their car detailed or they're not.
Right.
But it comes to replacing a roof or it comes to having a new heater installed. You might want to go the extra mile because right now, like when my heater broke 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about it. Like how do we fix this? What do we do? All I knew is I lived in an old house and the heater was old when I moved in. And we've been here for 12 more years, right? And, the heater stopped working. But if someone had provided me a roadmap and said, hey, here are the 5 things you need to know about choosing a heater, I would have read it because I needed to know. Like, I had an emergency. Like, what are the things I need to know? Instead, what I had to deal with, it was literally the week in between Christmas and New Year's. No one was open, couldn't get a hold of anyone. And I'm like, dude, I have money. It's freezing. I have money. I will happily pay you. Come fix this. That was unfortunately what I had to deal with. But then you got to create your lead bait. That's step 2. Step 3, then you got to devise the ad, your instant response ad. It's got to be about them. It's not about you. So what are the ads, Dave, that you and I always see? Name, rank, and serial number.
$500 off.
Same thing, right?
Count.
It's incest marketing at its finest. It's what does that roofer over there do? Great, that's what I'm going to do. He must know what he's doing.
It must work.
It must work.
And he's getting the same crappy customer the other guy is.
Yeah, you know it's really bad when you start looking at them and you're like, they're using the same testimonial. They got the same client saying the same thing.
It's kind of funny because one of the it's very interesting that the thing that you use probably you would never think of. Like one of the in placement is I remember a lawyer who was an immigration lawyer put all of her ads in men's boxing magazines.
Really?
Yeah. She found out that was a place where she pulled most of her clients out of.
No kidding.
Yeah. So, you have to really think outside the box. I mean, a good ad for maybe somebody who does windows is to the guy is, hey, enjoy golf while your wife looks out clean windows. But also remember that the guy may call you, but the wife is going to buy.
Right.
So you need to be nice to the wife.
Yep. Very, very. Yeah. So then the next thing we got to do is figure out that direct-to-consumer marketing. What's the right marketing? Is it going to be direct mail? Is it going to be magazine ads, newspaper ads, flyers? What's it going to be? And keep in mind, there is no bad marketing medium. There are just ones that are going to work better than others.
Right.
And so the thing that I hate seeing is when everyone's like, oh, this is the magic bullet over here. It's Facebook, it's Google, it's direct mail. And look, there's not a magic bullet. There's all these different mediums out there that you can utilize. It's just some are going to be more effective than others, and some are going to cost you a lot more.
Right.
That's why we got to look at what's our client acquisition cost. When we use direct mail, what's it cost us to acquire a client? When we use Facebook, what's it cost us to acquire a client?
And what's the turnaround time? And a lot of times you don't look at the turnaround time either. How long does it take? I remember, actually, it was not even a published book, or you couldn't buy it. It was that I got from Dan Kennedy once, and it had to do with this particular thing. In a sense, he gave it to a bunch of his clients, and it was like a 10-step program on how to get more clients. And so there, of course, a lot of them did, we'll do this one first. If that works, then we'll do the next one. If that doesn't work, we'll do the next one. Out of all the people he gave the book to, only one did all 10 at the same time. And guess who got the most business?
Interesting.
Yeah, the one who did all 10 at the same time. Because like you said, there's no one thing that is a silver bullet. The real silver bullet is doing everything at once and then taking it and then measuring it and testing to see which one works the best. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to do one, oh, it doesn't work. You do another, oh, it doesn't work. Well, that might not work that month for that particular ad. But how long is it going to take you to get down to number 10?
Right.
10 months?
Right.
And then you're going to say, oh, marketing doesn't work.
Yeah.
Everything works.
So then the next thing we look at is, what's your social media strategy? Step 6 is mastering the search engine, so you get everybody who is hot and bothered and looking right now. Step 7 is pre-selling and pre-sorting your prospects. Let your automation do the selling for you. So that way, all you got to do is work with the people who are ready to buy right now. Your nurture system, most of the money is made in the follow-up. I mean,
Always.
Dave, you and I have talked about that forever. That's where the money is. It's in the follow-up.
And that's where the work is.
I was talking with a buddy of ours, Martin, and I showed him our funnel for the CSWsolution.com, which you guys can find all about by going over to CSW Solution and going through the funnel.
Ching, ching.
Yeah, it was funny. So he goes through and he watches the video. And he goes, hey, here's some things I think you should do to the video. I think you should, add some charts to it and blah, 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 and all this other. And I go, hey, those are all great ideas. Wonderful ideas, in fact. I don't see anything wrong with them. And just so you're not offended, I'm not doing a single one of them. And he goes, why is that? And I go, well, it's not that any of them are bad. It's just that I know no one's going to buy, in our case, it's set a call with me. Not no one, but very few people are going to set a call with me because they watch that video and they click the button. For me, the call is going to come because I'm going to keep following up with them. And I'm going to send them more video and the next video. And hey, let me show you this step and let me show you that step and let me show you this, the next and the next, right? And then eventually someone goes, man, I have got to get on the phone with these guys. I got to be a part of this because this is exactly what my business needs. I'm like, so it's not that any of those are bad. It's just I know the money is in the follow-up. So why am I going to spend all this time, energy, and money on one little piece,
the pre-sale,
that isn't even going to bring me the money?
I know.
So, no, great idea. Not doing it. Wonderful idea. Still not doing it. I'm focusing on where the money is. That's the follow-up.
You should have said, why don't you do it for me? I'll put it up.
Yeah, no, I don't want him to do it for me.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
And then, of course, step 9, get reviews from past clients, get reviews and testimonials. Because that is one of the most powerful assets you can have in your business, is to have all those testimonials. You can put them on your ads. You can put them on your direct mail. You can put it on your monthly newsletter. You can stick it on your website. You can put it on a business card. I mean, so many things you can do with that, because let's face it, in the contracting world, people don't trust contractors. It's not like you have an overwhelming good reputation as an industry. This isn't the case. Too many bad guys out there.
It's not you. It's the industry. You have to overcome. Each one of us has to overcome the challenges that are set before us and rise above the crowd.
Yeah.
And the only way to rise above the crowd is to be different. That's to do the educational marketing. That's to do the follow-ups. It's not just, oh, here's my proposal.
Right.
Call me if you want it.
Yep. So that's the game plan, guys. You guys got to have your own roadmap. You can get ours, Contractor Secret Weapon Solution. You get it over at CSWsolution.com, because if you want to have a better 2020, you better have a roadmap. You better have a plan. And I would just encourage you, instead of wasting your time, just use ours. Literally, use ours, join the mastermind, work directly with me and Dave. We'll work specifically with you on your business. We'll talk on the phone, tell you what it's all about, how it's going to work. And it's not cheap. It's not the cheapest thing out there, but what is more expensive? Having another year like your last year, or having finally the dream year that you want in your business? The kind where you don't have to work every day, where you're not worried about where your next client's coming from. The peace that you're after by being a business owner. That's worth it.
Maybe at the end of the year, next year, you could have all your taxes paid and figure out, well, how much am I going to have to give away so I don't have to pay taxes on?
Right.
That would be cool.
What's your 2020 vision? You know how many people are going to be doing that for 2020? What's your 2020 vision? It's going to be everyone doing that. But
my vision is not to be creating insanity.
That's it, man. That's it. So here's the deal, guys. If you want to get a copy of the transcript of this episode, what you're going to do, I'm going to put this in the show notes, but you're going to text 317, because that's our episode number. So just the number 317. Text it into our automated number, 850-990-2020. Got to have our 2020 there. So you got 2020 vision in your business. And our automated texting solution is going to ask for your name, your email, and then it's going to automatically email everything out to you. We'll also send you with that our roadmap. So if you haven't gone to CSW Solution, you can go to the roadmap, or you'll get the roadmap there as well. But I encourage you to go to the cswsolution.com. Opt in there because you're going to watch the video and you're going to see what the mastermind group is all about. Those of you who've been emailing in, now is the time to go ahead and go check that out and set up a call. And we'll talk. And if it's right for you, great. If it's not, no problem. Keep listening to the podcast. You'll keep getting great information out of this. But if you want 2020 to be your best year yet, it's time to do something different. It's time to stop the insanity.
Amen.
So that's all I got to say.
Me too. Hope you have a great Christmas. And
you like that? I'm dropping the mic right there. Mic drop.
I'm out.
All right, guys. We will talk to you soon, and we'll be back next week with another great episode. Take care, everybody.
See ya.